Alright. Hello, hello, hello. What is up? What is up? It's your boy Alert Wolf here to bring you another anime review from last week, this week. That's how I do it sometimes. Alright, this is Hakkenden, 8 Dogs of the East. This is episode 4, entitled Homecoming. Alright. Now, you remember when last we left the show, it left us on a cliffhanger, and they all fall in the water. Genpachi, excuse me, Sosuke, Muramasa, Muramase, and Shino. They all fell into the water, and all hope seemed lost. Now, it doesn't actually pick up right here. It actually picks up with their sister, and what's his face, flirting some more. But whatever, saying that she's gonna go to school. I'm fine with that because, you know, they have that whole thing together. But whatever. But basically, we find out as they're about to drown, the little eyeball thing, which later gets named by Genpachi as Megu, blows up to its giant size. The little dust furball thing that it is with an eyeball, and it saves everybody. You know. It basically catches both the brothers. The bird is there too, because the sword turns into a bird, and it even saves Genpachi. And what happens is, excuse me. And what happens is, they go. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, it's been a little under the weather. Alright, they all end up at the brother's house, the Kobungo's house, and you know, we get the backstory of the full backstory of what happened to them. There were soldiers on the front. Who excuse me, who Genpachi led a battalion in the cold and in the mountains. They died, and on the verge of death, they were saved by Wolf Boy there, and their beads were either given to them or activated, and thus they became pretty much immortal. And Genpachi got the integrity bead. Kobungo got the fraternity bead, which makes sense because he's always trying to take care of his broski. You know what I'm saying, man? It's the fraternity badge, yo. We just gotta drink it up. Nah, I'm just playing. But that's what happens. And so when they get home, they find that Kobungo's sister and Genpachi's fiance had committed suicide, or not committed suicide. Yeah, well, had died shortly before they got there. You find out later that she committed suicide, but I'll get to that in a second. And basically, what happens here is because of what had happened, Genpachi was inconsolable. So he kept trying to kill himself. And he slit his throat, and he healed. He slit his wrist, and he healed. He shot himself in the face, and he healed. And that's when they realized that they were immortal. and so they had to live with the burden. Uh, Now there are a lot of jokes going around about all the different spirits. Even the big wolf spirit went to visit, you know, and so there are a lot of jokes and going around, and we get a little jokes with the fox spirits or the fox demon dudes, and basically, Seiran is he's making moves basically. He's tracking them using his parasitic insects, and he's trying to basically he's trying to enact a plan because he wants Muramasa. And the leader, see, because it's not that the monks are bad, is that listening to Seiran, who's a douche, is a bad idea, because the leader of the order is against it. But, and he cracks a comment like, you'll never be as good as your brother. And he like lobotomizes that dude. And you don't see it, but he says it later. And basically there's the twist. Now, back to the little side story of the sister. She gets enrolled into the local girls' academy because they're gonna be there for a while, and so you have those things going on. So, and now, as she's getting out, she runs into Satomi. I think that's who it is, right? I think I'm pronouncing his name right. The dudes with the wolf spirits, which are awesome. And he's asking her how she likes it, and blah blah blah. And, they're bullshitting, and then a bug like flies, whizzes by her face, and cuts her face. And then he is enraged when he figures out whose bugs they are. And he's like, now you've done it. Now you've crossed the line. Now I gotta get involved. You shouldn't have done that. And then, his blue flames flare up and he's off. I almost forgot to mention, in the backstory, there is an actual princess that they were protecting from the royal family. So as we know from the legend, the princess has her 8 warriors. I believe this princess is that princess, reborn. How they always do that. So it's going to be interesting to see that her maybe later on. I mean, I'm just taking a guess here, but I'm assuming they're her dogs. You know what I mean? And that I'm fine with that. So it's at night now. They're a peaceful little tryst down memory lane and just relaxing in the woods in their house has come to an end. The monks go to attack, and they're like, "Oh, we never did get the abbot's permission." And he's like, "Oh, he can't think anymore." So, and he's all slumped over. So this is what I say with the lobotomy. So they attack the cottage with like flame arrows, and they have swords hidden under the floorboards. 3 of them. They hand them out. Muramasa turns into a sword, and there you go. And the fighting begins. They urge the kid to get out of there, so him and his brother bounce through the back, but they're all fighting and killing monks, and monks are dying left and right, by the way. And then Seiran says something stupid to piss off Ginpachi. He tells him the truth about what happened to the sister, and the truth of what happened, or the apparent truth, because there could be more later on, which is that what happened to her was she committed suicide because I guess she thought they were dead, and so she slept with somebody else and got herself pregnant. Although nobody knows who the father is, when she found out you were still alive, he goes, she killed herself. And that sent both from. See, here's his mistake. First, you're you're not just talking shit about the guy's fiance. The other guy in the room happens to be her brother. So now you're talking shit to both of them. And they kind of get angry and go Super Saiyan on them. But no, what happens is both of them turn into their Oni forms, their demon forms. And just going into that form was enough to kill half the monks there. Seiran loses his arm. And, you know, and it is bad. You know what I mean? It is really bad. And these guys get swamped. So Seiran calls for the retreat because he didn't realize how strong they would be if he pissed them off. And then he's like, and then all of a sudden, Satomi shows up. And he's like, yeah, you guys aren't going anywhere. He goes, you know, and they're like, who, you know, some of the monks, some of the cannon fodder monks are like, who are you? And he's like, if I have to explain myself to you fools, you're not important enough to make it. And his power sucker flares. And then they realize their mistake, but it is too late for them. And then you get some dialogue between the two of them. He goes, oh, you think you can take me with one arm? And he's like, no, these wounds are nothing. You know, my insects will take care of it. He goes, what insects? Haven't you noticed there was no insects around you right now? That's because I kind of destroyed them all. And he's like, and then Seiran looks shocked, and he's like, you know, I never did. And his eyes start to glow and go all demony. He's like, you know, I never did hate you, right? Even though your mom tried to kill me, and you know, big brother. So there you go. That's who his big brother is. Ding, ding, ding. He goes, I always felt sorry for you guys. I never really hated you. He goes, but you had to cross that line, huh? You know, I didn't care what you did up until now, but you had to cut that young girl's face. That was the line. You crossed it. And he goes all badass, and they pan out, you hear the screaming. Obviously, he kills his brother. Well, maybe names him a lot. I'm assuming he's dead. And if he's alive, he's very, very injured, considering he didn't have anything to heal him. So then, you know, what's cool is we get to see one of the powers of the blade, which is to create rain, so that they have power over weather, and that puts out the fire. You get, you know, Genpachi and Kabungo start talking, and he's like, are you upset about my sister? And he's like, not really, but I'm more upset that you didn't tell me about it. He goes, how could I tell you about it? And by the way, you two are both the same, always taking an easy way out, meaning suicide. So he's like, yeah, we are. And he's like, that's why I always had to protect you. So you get his, and again, fraternity badge. He has to take care of his brother. You know what I'm saying? That's what you do. And so, and then Shino shows up, he's like, hey, you're right. You know, kind of bends over in front of his face, and we get more of the gayness in the show. Now, there is gayness because he's a 13-year-old, but actually 18-year-old child, who has soft features, and who they already described that they used to, until they become men, they used to dress these boys up as girls in their village. So you already get the child touching, big brother, little brother fantasy gayness that they have going around in the background. I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me. It's not going to deter me from an otherwise good show. But yeah, so we get a little gayness at the end, and that's your episode. You know. All right, so in the next episode, it's called the Divine Blessing. So, what did I think? Basically, I guess this concludes your opening like 4 episodes, so to speak. So this concludes like the beginning little story where our first little villain is dealt with. So having said that, the action was pretty good. Storytelling wise and the pacing I thought was fine. I was never bored during the episode. I enjoyed my flashbacks. I enjoyed the humor that was peppered in the entire episode, especially with Meguma or Megu, whatever he named that little eyeball thing. So I enjoyed that as well. I'm gonna give this one 3.5. 3.5. It was a very good episode. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was definitely better than 3. So 3.5 for this episode 4. Great action, good story, nice blending of comedy, and it's just interesting to see where they go from here, because we already have at least 4. I'm assuming we already have like 4 of the beats narrowed down now for the 8. I'm assuming the other guys have beats, but I could be wrong. So the team is starting to form, and I want to see what great evil they have to fight. So that'll be stuff to be developed for the future of the show. But yeah, enjoyed this episode. Definitely recommend it. And that's it for me on this. So click it up if you like it. Comment if you must. And please subscribe if you can. And like I said, I'm going to be doing all the back episodes that I should be doing. So so you're going to get 6 videos out of me. This would be the 2nd video. And then after all the ones from the previous week are done, you're going to start seeing the ones from this week. So episode 5 should be out by the time this gets put on, because the rendering is really slow. Would be out by the time this video gets put on. But I'm going to get to Thursday's videos. Should be I'll be able to hit it Friday. So episode 5's review will be out shortly. All right, but that's all, folks. So this is me signing out.